What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast. If you're new to the channel, I'm Waiver Wire Queen. Welcome and thanks for tuning in. You already know it is NFL time. It is football time. Preseason is starting, and I am looking forward to seeing three rookies. Well, I want to see all the rookies, but there are three rookies in particular that I'm looking forward to seeing during the preseason. And I think these rookies should have an impact in Dynasty and maybe at some point in a redraft league. Let's get it.
To the Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast with Waiver Wire Queen.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We have a lot of great content, which is going to help you prepare for your upcoming fantasy football draft, especially if you are in a redraft league. And this content is going to help you throughout the fantasy football season so you can achieve your ultimate goal and compete for a championship, because it's all about winning out here in these fantasy football streets. That is all. Let's talk about these three rookies that I am excited to see this season. And these rookies, again, definitely in a dynasty league, should have an impact at some point this season and may have an impact at some point in a redraft league. So let's get right into it. We are going to start with the quarterback position. Let's talk about one of my favorite quarterbacks coming into this draft, Desmond Ridder, quarterback with the Falcons. Desmond Ridder was drafted to the perfect situation. We already know the Falcons are in a rebuild. They traded Matt Ryan. They signed Marcus Mariota, who we know is a serviceable starting quarterback. However, he has some durability issues. He's always hurt. So I wouldn't be surprised at some point this season if Desmond Ridder had an opportunity to play and he continues to be the quarterback for the Falcons, because he has all the tools, leadership, he has the qualities to be a quarterback in the NFL. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him play during the preseason and hopefully at some point during the year. He is definitely a quarterback you should look at in a dynasty league. I don't believe you should be drafting him in a redraft league unless he was to win the starting job and he actually performs. But he is definitely a quarterback who should be on your radar in a dynasty league. I honestly feel like he may end up being the quarterback out of the rookies this year to actually perform the best. And that's not saying a lot, because it doesn't appear like most of these rookie quarterbacks are going to get a lot of opportunities. We all thought maybe Kenny Pickett, right? At least that's what some people thought. Not really me. He was drafted in the first round, so you think that, hey, he's going to start at some point. Well, you know, it's Mitch's job. And then you have Willis. We all know Tannehill is going to be the quarterback this season, barring any injuries, God forbid, or if the Titans just stink it up and don't make the playoffs, then you may see a little Malik Willis, but I believe you'll see Mitch with the Steelers. You'll see Marcus with the Falcons, and you'll see Ryan with the Titans, which means these young rookie quarterbacks may not have the opportunity to get on the field this year. But when you look at the teams that are potentially in a rebuild, like the Falcons, you know that Desmond Ridder has the best opportunity to get on the field this season because they already have a plan for him. So I expect it to happen. And then he has some very damn good young players on offense with him, Drake London and Kyle Pitts. They have it. They have some very good offensive weapons, which is going to help Desmond Ridder. So I'm looking forward to seeing Desmond Ridder get out there in preseason and show everybody he's going to be in the best quarterback draft. At least I'm hoping. At the wide receiver position, we're just going to keep it with the Atlanta Falcons. Drake London. I am so excited for Drake London. I really want to see Drake London in preseason. He is obviously must draft in a dynasty league. Should be the first wide receiver, in my opinion, off the board. He's looking really good and dominating, using his size to win his matchups. Let's see how that goes when he's playing in some live action against some of the better defenses in the NFL. I think he'll be solid. People compare him to Mike Evans. If he is half of what Mike Evans is. I am happy to have invested a draft pick in him in my dynasty league, because we all know people let us sleep on Mike Evans, and they need to stop, because Mike Evans, one, is a top 10 wide receiver in fantasy football. Check out my top 10 fantasy football rankings. And number two, Mike Evans has had an 1,000-yard season every year in the NFL, considering he's had Winston as his quarterback. And we all know Winston at times was turning the ball over a whole hell of a lot, which means that's taken away from opportunities. But when you think of Mike Evans, just call him Mr. Consistent. That should be his name. And if Drake London can end up turning into a Mike Evans type player, then you should be pleased, because he's going to produce every year and be solid for you. And that's really all you can ask for in one of your players you are building in your dynasty league. He's a player you should be drafted in a redraft league. The opportunity is going to be there. Pitts and Evans, the Falcons did trade for Bryan Edwards, which I like that move as well. We all know that Calvin Ridley has been spending definitely at least for the whole 2022 season. We'll see if he's able to be reinstated. However, right now, Drake London is the number one wide receiver, and he's going to get his opportunities. I know a lot of people say, well, Marcus Mariota ain't throwing the damn football to anyone. When the Falcons drafted London, I was like, oh my God, he playing with Marcus. That ain't going to work. And I was like, ooh, that stock may be slightly down. But then when they followed up with it in the third round, drafted Desmond Ridder, I was like, ooh, that stock right back up. I believe that Desmond Ridder, again, will play at some point this year, and you're going to see some great work, a nice rapport between Drake and Desmond. I'm on a first name basis with these Atlanta Falcon players, y'all. I just am. And again, people are concerned about the production of Drake London, particularly, and Kyle Pitts with Marcus Mariota. Let's be clear. Corey Davis had a solid season or two with Marcus Mariota. 2019, 43 receptions, 601 receiving yards. And in 2019, went for 891 receiving yards and 65 receptions. That's not bad production. I do anticipate Desmond Ridder taking over at some point. So there may be some growing pains. If I had to project the yardage for Drake London this season, I to see him hit 1,000, because we want to start that off and start that Mr. Consistent. But it's going to depend on the quarterback play. If Marcus Mariota can be consistent, and then if they do hand the keys to Desmond Ridder at some point and he's consistent, then yes, Drake London may hit 1,000. You got to think, Devontae Smith almost went for 1,000 with Jalen Hurts last year, and we know Jalen Hurts was inconsistent throwing the football. And then also you got to understand that Jalen Waddle went for 1,000 with Tua and other quarterbacks. And we all know Tua was off a lot last year. So it is possible. And if with Marcus Mariota, Corey Davis can almost hit 900, I don't see why Drake London can't do it, because I believe Drake London is a better wide receiver and will be a better wide receiver and have a better career at the wide receiver position. Let's talk about a running back I'm loving. James Cook, running back with the Buffalo Bills. When the Bills drafted him, I was like, oh my God, I got to find a way to get him on my team. Was able to draft him in 2 dynasty leagues. He's a running back that you should draft with confidence in a dynasty league and in a redraft league. Don't have any doubts. There shouldn't be any concerns. I believe him and Devin Singletary will be the 2 backs. I do believe they complement each other. I do believe that you'll see a lot of Cook in any passing situations, third down. He is going to be a very good PPR back. So in a PPR league, I want a lot of James Cook. Simple as that. And again, him and Devin Singletary, I believe they complement each other. So that's going to work really well. And you got to understand, with the Bills, you have Josh Allen, top quarterback in fantasy football, maybe the top quarterback in NFL. I'm just saying, I'm a Giants fan, but I'm just 100 with y'all. James Cook should be drafted in all formats. Just don't even have any doubts. He is playing with the Bills. They have that high-powered offense. And when you think about the dual threat of Josh Allen, you know that Cook is going to benefit from that. So draft James Cook with confidence, y'all. That's what I'm talking about. I'm so excited because it's football time. Leave some comments and let me know which rookies you are excited to watch this preseason. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of great content which is going to help you throughout your fantasy football season.
Thanks for listening to the Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast.